Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I come in weekly or every other week to share some tips and tools about the healing journey and a sense of spirituality that some people may think when they think about spirituality is that it has to be some sort of deeper connection to the other side of the veil, or that you're kind of always in tune with the spirit guides and the other side. And my experience has been that our spiritual journey is full of practical tips and tools that help us stay in alignment, in touch with our intuition, in touch with the other side when we want to. We can step in and out. We can't always be on the other side because we live here on earth. We're human beings. So there are lots of ways that we can do that. It's not just for the special ones or the gurus, it's for everybody, but it takes practice just like everything else. And today, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please hit the subscribe button. I'm also giving away a free soul retrieval session in a draw if you subscribe and share this channel with somebody. And if you don't know what a soul retrieval is, the last video I did kind of highlights what entails a soul retrieval, which I'm very honored and humbled always to do that for other people. But today I want to talk a little bit about trauma, why people heal and why they don't heal. And sometimes when I talk about trauma, people will say, well, I don't have trauma, right? They might look at me and say, well, you have trauma. You had a lot of horrific experiences and your child died by suicide, so you have trauma, but I don't have trauma. The truth is, I haven't met anyone who doesn't have trauma. And for years and years and years, I walked around not really thinking I had trauma. I just felt there's something wrong with me, that I'm broken, and that's why bad things keep happening to me. And I just attract these negative scenarios, and I'm always in some sort of situation I got to get myself out of, not knowing that my whole lens of how I viewed the world was from a trauma response, was from a disconnect from my body and from being in an activated state in my nervous system most of the time, without even knowing it. Always looking to see what I needed to be on high alert for. Who could I trust? Who couldn't I trust? But I didn't call that trauma. And even when I was involved in a home invasion and was tied up at gunpoint in New York, I didn't call it trauma. I didn't call it PTSD. I just said, oh my gosh, why do I have such bad luck? Why do these things keep happening to me? But my body was reacting, and I knew my body was reacting, but I wasn't making the connection. So we have multiple ways that trauma shows up. We have small traumas that add up in our life that all of a sudden make us kind of feel a certain way about life, feel a certain way in our body, whether we're connected or we're disconnected, how we actually see people in our world, how we see situations, how we engage in our work life, in our family life, with our partners, with our children. So wouldn't you want to find out how you can show up in your life with more energy, that you can wake up feeling alive and energetic, that you can have presence with your loved ones, that you feel good in your body, that you trust life and yourself to make the right decisions? Wouldn't it feel good to wake up like that, instead of waking up worrying about this or that and not being able to have conversations with people because you're always distracted, because you're always in a state of worrying about something? Or maybe your program or your conditioning is about feeling dense energy, depressed, blah, or just monotone, not really getting too excited or too sad, kind of staying on the surface where it's safe. This is all trauma stuff. This is all ways we've learned to show up in the world based on things that happened. And a lot of the times we can't even name it, but it's running the show. It's running our emotions. And the more that we look away from it, the more it compounds, until one day when you're in your 30s, because you've been carrying it for too long. Maybe you make it to your 40s or 50s. You've been carrying it too long. One day you just exhausted. You feel pain in your body. You feel dense in your energy because you've been neglecting your emotions your entire life. And then you think that this mind that's been conditioned to think that way, that this body that keeps pushing to do more, that's who I am. That's not who you are. But we just identify, that's the way my mind works. That's the way my mom was. That's just the way it is. This is the lot in my life. These are the things I have to deal with. I'm never going to get over this. I'm never going to feel better about that. These are all stories we tell ourselves. But what if you knew there's a way to heal your life? Would you do it? If you knew 100% that there's a way to heal, would you actually step into the courage that's already in you and reclaim your life again? What if those stories were no longer telling you you can't, and we're started looking for the possibilities of where you can? Would you do it? Because most people, myself was included in this, most people don't even attempt to look at what would I feel like if I was healed? What would my day be like? What would I be doing? How would I feel? They don't even go there because they're so busy ruminating in these stories of our life and our mind and our circumstance and our lot and what's been given to us. We're so busy kind of spiraling in that we don't stop to say, what if I could heal? What would that look like? How would I feel? And I'm telling you right now that you can heal. That you can step into the courage, the self-compassion, and the inner connection to yourself to heal your life, to show up with ease and flow, to trust that you have it within you to heal your life. And you don't have to know all the steps to get there, but you have to believe you can. And that's what I did to shift and start turning towards healing. And that's what I help people do. I help people unlayer all these mind stories so that they can step into the truth of who they are. Because everything you need to heal is already within you. You just have to gain access to it. It's already there. You don't have to go out and find healing. Things will come up for you that will tell you, oh, you should try this. And maybe that helps unlayer something. There's steps along this path. But we do have to have the courage to step on it. And then we have to be in the uncomfortable space of finding that deep self-compassion for ourselves so we can greet ourselves with love instead of judgment, denial, disassociation, numbing out. We get to actually connect to our beautiful essence in our soul, which will then guide you to healing. That's the work I do. I help people unlayer the stories of the mind, the stories, the heaviness they carry around with them, so they can connect to the truth of who they are. And I too once believed that that wasn't possible for me, that I would always feel this dense, heavy energy that I have to drag around with me for the rest of my life. That's a story I told myself that wasn't true, because the mind is not a reliable source for healing. We have to drop into the body, drop into our essence, open our heart. That's the only way we'll find our way through it. That's what I want to share with you today. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love you to subscribe if this speaks to you. If you want to be in the draw for a free shamanic soul retrieval, you have to subscribe and share this link out with somebody else. And I will see you next week. Let me know in the comments section ways that you have embraced your healing and how do you envision healing for you. I'd love to know. Okay, bye.